we gather in search of the truth, dark, and mystery. It's the Drunk Turkey Show.
Big development today in the investigation into the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. According to state and local officials and court documents, 28-year-old Brian Christopher Koberger has been arrested. He was arrested and arraigned this morning in Pennsylvania.
We have new details on what Brian Koberger was doing right before his arrest. Police says a tactical team burst in to arrest the Idaho murder suspect. He was in pajamas and latex gloves, stuffing trash into Ziploc bags.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000. It still sucks. This is Phil J. Pride, and you're listening to the Drunken Turkey Show. Your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
Just like every other podcast. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Drunk Turkey Show. I'm Daniel, and tonight we're getting back into the Nancy Guthrie abduction. We have a special guest. We're going to have Alex from Criminal Network on the channel. He is from the area, and we're going to get his perspective and his thoughts and opinions on some of the most recent developments in the case. There's been quite a few things that have come out here recently. Some stuff has, I guess, law enforcement says there's nothing there. Some other stuff I think is pretty dang interesting. And so without further ado, let's bring in our guest tonight. Alex, how you doing, my man? How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Appreciate the invite.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was good to have you last time. I thought we had an awesome conversation. So,
yeah, likewise.
Kind of getting back into it. I've been talking a little bit about the Brian Koberger case here recently. I had Steve Gonsalves on the channel the other day. If you haven't seen that interview, Steve is the father of Kaylee Gonsalves, one of the victims of Brian Koberger in the Idaho massacre that occurred back in November of 2022. So if you haven't seen that interview, go check that out.
I'm gonna. That's awesome though.
Yeah, he got real candid, especially towards the people that have talked negatively towards his family. It's crazy, you know.
Yeah, who does that? Yeah.
There's a large amount of these folks who just like to, pound it at the family. Yeah.
That's
it's crazy. But how have you been, Alex? Have you been out to the residence recently? I know there's been some news of some remains that were found. I know law enforcement right now are saying they don't think there's a tie-in, but did you happen to go out there for that?
Yeah, no, I didn't go out there. But Mark and he had his drone up and everything. But apparently, from Pima County, they say it's not related as of now. But I mean, don't quote me, but I think there was 3 bodies found in the last 3 days. They're gonna find people out here. It's hot. People die of heat. And then there's a lot of homeless out here. And and I'm not saying that's what it was, but somebody said that there were old bones. Of course, they're not going to tell us right away.
Yeah, it said that. Yeah, I think Pima County put out that there was that they had been out there for an extended period of time. And, if Nancy was discarded relatively, if she did pass and, trigger warning and things of that nature, if she did pass relatively shortly after the abduction, and then was discarded out there shortly afterwards, given how hot it is out there, I think that would, her remains probably would look similar, skeletonized and things of that nature by this point.
Don't you think someone would have smelled it? Something, I'm just saying the dirt out here is tough. Like you're going to have to work to dig a hole. So, and of course this is just speculation, but I think it was a pre-dug hole wherever she's at.
Yeah, if she's buried,
if she's buried, correct.
And I'm glad you bring up, the buried part and if she's buried and things, because that brings up the ransom notes. When we spoke last time, the ransom notes hadn't been out yet, and they are now. What do you think about the ransom note? Do you think they're real? Do you think they're legit?
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Even since then, the first 2 ransom notes are, in my opinion, 100% real. Only because of the timeline. Savannah was already reading the the first ransom note on February 2nd. So for someone to just try to come up with a little plan when they just heard on the news that she was just reported missing that fast, it was it had to be pre-planned, and then, there's the earlier, I know that's another debate is about the January 11th picture, stuff like that.
Well, I think that it's more likely than not that the perpetrator was there on a different day, based on what law enforcement are saying. But when it comes to the ransom notes itself, I think they're absolutely real. And I want to say real quick, thank you to Mary Melbourne.
I didn't know how you felt about it. To me, 100% real. Those two.
Oh, I'm 100% thinking they're real as well. But thank you to Mary Melbourne saying, love the birthday surprise video on Married to the Hobby. Married to the Hobby is my other channel that me and my wife do. We've been doing some traveling stuff. We have a giveaway on our most recent video.
What's the name of it? I'm sorry.
Married to the Hobby. It's our newest channel. It's a lot different than what we do
Spelled
here.
all normal, Married to the Lobby?
To the Hobby. HOBBY.
To the Hobby.
Yeah, and it's
Married to the Hobby.
The 2 is with a number. I'd appreciate it. Thank you guys. And so here's why I think, and I'm going to say this, that I think this is 100% real, is on the first note. And I wish they would have put this out there to begin with, but law enforcement didn't. But, if they did, I think that I would have come to this opinion immediately. One of the things that I noticed is that this goes on to this. It starts off with this whole callous, no emotion, no nothing. We have her. She's aware of this, blah, blah, blah. Then it comes with the Bitcoin address. Now, people are creatures of habits. If you look at the second, note, the last thing that they put in there is the Bitcoin address.
On the sorry note, right?
Yeah. Now, here, you have something afterwards. She had a white smartwatch on the floor, the foot of her bed, and a white floodlight in the backyard was destroyed. To me, what this told me was that the reason why there was no emotion and there was no, it was so callous was because it hadn't happened yet. I think that the first part was pre-written, and then
that was the plan. Yeah.
Then they added this part at the end, the PS part. Now, that tells me that this is real, because if you were writing this note, in real time, let's just say this was fake and you're this, fake, fraudster, and you go out and you create this note, you're not gonna add the "oh yeah" after the fact part. That's going to be in the body of this note. Now, what this also tells me is, and I know a lot of people think that the sorry note and the first note are two different people. I want to pump the brakes on that. And the reason,
I have to agree with you on this one, Daniel, for sure. Same author.
Yeah, I want to say that there's a good possibility it is. And the reason why the tonality is different is because this happened, the first part happened before. Yeah, this was the plan.
Big plan. Yeah.
Exactly.
Real quick,
go ahead.
Yeah, can I jump in? As where it says hello, Savannah? Well, it's also like hello, Clarice. Hello, Clarice. So, and remember, that's how she responded back. Remember? Just talk to her and you'll see. Remember? So they kind of responded in that sense.
I noticed that too.
Yeah. Hello, Clarice.
Well, I think that,
remember, like you said, it was pre-written because it was for Savannah, because if anybody could get that Bitcoin money, it would be her. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But the second one, you're right. Now they already knew they messed up. This is a whole other pain. This was part of their big. They had this plan pretty good, except for the money thing. They blew it, and the proof of life.
Yeah. I think he panicked. I'm not sure if this is more than one person. I just think that there's a good possibility that this is callous like that because it's before the abduction, and this is after she's passed, and now they're in a different state of mind. Like, things have gotten real at this point.
You think it's one person, or you don't know?
I don't know.
It has to be two or more.
I'm 50-50.
Only because, look, to me, to have the skill sets to be the guy who's there at the door, cold-blooded dude who knows what he's about to do, to also be the guy who does all this, as far as the ransom notes, that's like two different skill sets. And that was a lot to put on one person to carry her out and to not have that's me, of course. That's just.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. I think there was one person at the residence. I think that if there was a second person, they're the driver, and maybe perhaps assisted with whatever they were going to do, maybe the planning and the post planning, but things went wrong. That's kind of where I'm at. And the main reason behind that is because you have the drops outside of the house, which we're going to talk about a little bit more in detail. But you do have some drops there, and they seem to be relatively close together, which
I love it.
which is like an indication of walking slow. However, I do believe that at least 8 of those contact points, or 8 of those blood drops, are contact points of the same object that was put down in blood and then placed on the porch and then picked up and then placed again on the porch somewhere a little bit different ways. And we'll go into that here in a second. But because I think that the first note was written mainly before, I do think that this is a scenario where this could be the same person. The tonality is different just because this crime hadn't happened. Plus, it goes in here to say that, they're going to leave her, back in Tucson unharmed, which we already know she was harmed.
Right.
Because she was bleeding. Yeah. So that's they didn't plan on harming her. Whiskey Frequency comes in with $5. I like that name. With the sauce, Alex. Ted Investigates.
Ted, that's my brother right there. Shout out to Ted Investigates. He's my bad. Good dude right there, man.
And then Birdie comes in with their membership. Now you mentioned one thing about the that Savannah had mentioned, came back with kind of like the Silence of the Lambs and was like, talk to her and you'll see. Right. I strongly suspect that a lot of her communication has been kind of driven by law enforcement, particularly by FBI.
I agree 100%.
And so for her to say that, I think that was put in there because the FBI may have either seen something in what he wrote, maybe the Hello Savannah part, or maybe something at the scene along with this Hello Savannah part that made them tie into that to put that part in there. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And there's a lot of big brains that work there that are going to try to figure this out. So everything she said, of course, they were all FBI written. I mean, you could even tell they filmed both times. I think most of those times because of the camera she used, my bad, not the camera, the lighting.
Yeah. And so I don't know. I haven't seen the scene, obviously, but I wonder if there's something there that makes them also point in this direction.
How about the second one? To me, in a perspective, is like they knew they messed up. The death penalty was on the table. They truly messed up. I don't know why they put the Bitcoin address there again, maybe hoping for like some consolation prizes or something. Well, the was almost like to try to save their butts, or in a sense. Maybe I'm wrong, in case they were caught.
It could be, but the Bitcoin was put on there so that they can verify that it's the same person.
True.
So they put the Bitcoin there. So it's like, all right, I'm the person that wrote the first one. We want to let you know that she passed away. Not our intention. And there's some things here that are miswritten or misspelled, which doesn't align with translation, doesn't align with AI and things of that nature. So
I agree.
I mean, it could be a personal bad interpretation, but I don't think it's somebody putting in something into a computer and then the computer spitting out something that they could copy and paste. So
it could be like on a word pad, like they might have typed this out somewhere, but not from like a AI generated one. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
but that was part of their plan, though. I agree with that part of it because that was before everything happened.
Yeah, and I mean, I think there's that was part of their plan, and then the other thing is, let me pull it up real quick. Where'd it go? Oh, here it is. So we talked about January 11th a little bit. Now, one thing here that they say, and this is the media release by Sheriff Chris Nanos, and on here it says there's 2 videos recovered from Nancy's doorbell camera, maybe from 2 separate days. These videos are critical to our understanding of the unidentified male's behavior and choices. They indicate he took steps to prepare for the event on the night of January 31st to February 11th. So to me, when it comes down to why that person was there, possibly January 13th or 11th, according to this, whatever it is that they saw in that video, it wasn't an attempt to break in. It was more of what they believe is exactly surveillance. A preparation for this specific night is what they're indicating. You know, that tells me, one, that's on 2 separate days, obviously, and 2, that you know, this is a person who doesn't really have that much access to the house, because if they did, like a family member or such, they wouldn't really need to do the reconnaissance stuff, don't you think?
Very true. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, very true though. You wouldn't have to do all that.
And so I don't know who committed this crime, but this is somebody who I think, you know, did something. Now, let's just say it was the 13th, and let's just say law enforcement isn't, or the 11th, and law enforcement isn't lying to us that it was more than that. And it was the 11th, and then they came back. There's only a few things that make me wonder why it would have taken that long for him to go back and commit the crime. Was it because, you know, it's work related? You know, he was waiting for another weekend he was off. Was it
also they were asking for January 24th to all the neighbors. January 11th, January 24th, and January 31st, which is all weekends, which is like what you just said.
Yeah.
The gem show was also in town for that month, you know, stuff like that. But yeah.
The what show?
The gem show. I don't know if that has to do with anything with Monday to Friday, but
I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, the gem show?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big, huge gem show.
Gem show.
Not bad.
For gems.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, okay.
And the guy next door, we call the gem guy, the gem house guy.
Interesting.
That's a whole other avenue if you ever want to go that way. But yeah.
Well, we'll maybe.
he sold his business for like 2.1 billion recently. You know what I mean?
Holy
this guy's
smokes.
rich, and he had an infatuation with Nancy Guthrie and would give her gems all the time. This was
really?
Like, I don't know. Yeah, we heard about this early on. So he liked her. I don't know if he'd be involved in doing something like this, but he also rents out Airbnbs, and a lot of his house aims right to her house. Like he has a patio and cameras that face right to her house and her garage and all that stuff. So there's just a lot of things that point that way. Like, I'm not accusing anybody, but there's a lot of weird stuff in that neighborhood.
That is interesting. That is interesting.
So he's known as the big gem show guy.
The gem show guy. I was never familiar. I had no idea.
His wife hates me with a passion. Everybody was able to hear it too.
Ted Investigates comes in saying he's an Alex fangirl. That's funny. And thank you to the Steelers fan and Wolf Moon and what was it? Yellow EJ2. Thank you guys.
I was going to tell you, just so you know, I haven't been to Nancy's house, although I've been wanting to via court order. I can't.
Oh, geez.
So there's how many people in the world? 8 billion people.
Mm-hmm.
8 billion people in the world could go on Camino Escalante, but I can't. Which is that. But look, even the perps could come back, and I'm not even allowed over there.
Wow, not even on the public part.
Not even on Nancy's street.
That's wild. That's pretty weird.
Yeah, it happens. But you know, I can still do stuff from the house, and you know, that's not the only place. You know, so
yeah. Well, sorry about all that, my man.
No, don't be sorry. No, just Pima County stuff. How's that? Life be life, and Pima County is just wow. There's a lot of weird stuff over here, as you can tell by this case. It's like the Truman Show since it has started. Like they're putting the set together as we're pulling in. You're like, what the?
That's insane, man. Well, I mean, when you look at this investigation, and we're going to talk about the blood next, the fact that they left all this stuff here talks about how well the police do, how good they do there. Wow. That's wild. Now, here's the blood stuff. Now, I don't know. Maybe she was taking on something. I know that the blood up here, that looks like aspirated blood. That looks like she coughed. That looks like she was close to the ground when it happened. The problem that we have is we have this dot, this one, and this one right here. They're an exact match to these three right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So these 4 and these 4 are an exact match. Now, what we did here is we took like a little snippet from these 4 and then overlaid it on the 4 that were over here by the footprint. And they match perfect.
Interesting. Yeah, I saw this. I saw like a picture of this. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I saw like a picture of this, and I wasn't able to put it into context. Now I see what you're saying. Now I get it, and now I see what it could be. Like, is that where you're going with it? Is it something? I don't know. What is it? What is it? A cart?
I have no idea what this is, but what it is, and here you can see. So we aligned the middle one here. This dot here, this is the one with the leaf in it. This is the one, next to it. When you move it, and you can see where there's the shoe print and there's the other dots behind it. These 4 points match up perfectly. Now, that shouldn't happen if you're bleeding.
There's nothing that's going to be that uniform. You're right.
And if you had a bag of some sort. So this has to be contact points of some sort, of something rigid, something hard. And I haven't figured out what it is. I was looking at them. I was trying to flip it around and look at it from all these different angles. And I'm gonna put it. Yeah, I think.
So how many patas does it have? 4? Like how many? Whatever it is that's down. Is it 4 of them?
It's 4. It's got 4. It's got this
number.
It's got this weird like curvature right here too, and then one that just sticks out. No idea.
Saying where if it was, in other words, if it was already in blood, something, and then it would be able to be set down like that.
Yeah. So something sat there and then got picked up and then moved and sat back down.
Right. People to this day are still so mad about that, Matt. They'll never get over it.
I have no idea why they left it.
Yeah, of course, all of us. But people are just, think they have petitions over just the mat.
Well, I mean, and I know a lot of people will look at Pima County and say that, they should have picked it up, and they very well should have, but the FBI didn't do it either. So it was, in my opinion, a failure on both ends.
Yeah, good point. On a side note, I'll be selling it on eBay later on tonight. Don't tell nobody. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny.
I mean, imagine how much I could bring in on an auction.
Right.
I'm interested. I like the thing with the 4 touch. What did you call them?
They're 4 contact points. Not sure. Yeah, not sure which one it is. I don't know what it is. It could be a bag. I mean, it could be a suitcase of some sort. I know some folks are saying maybe some cleats, like on a shoe. That'd be weird. This guy took some cleats.
Here's my question: where did they get the blood to put in to make those contact points? Only because it seems like what she coughed wasn't a lot. Some people think it's a lot of blood. It wasn't a lot of blood. I mean, It was a good cough, but what I'm saying is, like, where would this blood have? In other words, the contact points.
Oh, I will 100% agree with you, because not only from the contact points, but even this like print itself, that right there is somebody stepping in some significant blood, or a wheel going into some significant blood, and then put on here. Now, the reason why I think it's more likely a footstep is because if it's a wheel and there's something inside, like a blood puddle inside, and that's what they rolled into, I'm assuming we're going to see more of a roll somewhere leading up to this. Even if it's just on one other spot, the fact that it's just right here, and then then it's right here also. I have another angle of it. It's this pattern here on its side, and then there's another somewhat of a similar pattern, but it's more faded out over back here, and I'll pull that up. But these points here, no idea what they are, and some people think maybe it's somehow faked, some of the blood somehow, but that I'm not necessarily there. I do think that if there is like a bag that is shaped like that, if I could flip this over and it kind of comes in like that, and there's these contact points like this.
Would a piece of carpet do that? No, not uniformly like that. I'm just trying to think what would cause something.
I don't know. I've been stumped about it for a while.
How about this? Can you get aspirated blood through your nose, right? Same as if it was a cough out of her mouth. Okay.
I assume so, yeah. I think so. That's going to be a Steve question. He's the CSI guy.
Yeah.
And so, this was interesting. And I think there's still so much more that we can learn from this crime scene, especially if they would, tell us, because you have things like, go ahead.
Yeah, because if they're stumped, don't you think the FBI would have at least put something else out, kind of like how we got the suspect. But without that, imagine if we didn't have that video, I think it would have a lot of people would have really just let it go away. We would have known, but without that, we would have had nothing. We would have just had the timeline,
Yeah. Daniel, could it have happened when Ellie tested the blood? I don't know, because it's something would have had to have been put down in the blood, right, and then lifted. Right, to the initial contact. So you put something down in the blood, pull it out, put it down outside, and then pick it up and then move it again and put it back down. So there's minimum three times that whatever left those contact points touched the ground. The time that it picked up the blood, the time that it left the first mark, and then the second mark. And so there's at least three times. Why this person put something down that many times, right. No idea. But it's interesting. I thought maybe, I don't know, one of those shower rugs, they have those contact points on the bottom of them.
Good point.
But
like that would make a little more sense too.
Yeah.
But that would be like the bathtub wouldn't have been immaculate. Right?
That is true.
Or something. I don't know. Yeah, but I always trip out on the people who, I shouldn't say people because I was like that a long time, but they say the staging. And I'm trying to think let's just say they stage the blood. What does what's the person get out of that? That information right there, whether the blood was there or not, we would still be in the same boat today that Nancy is missing. This guy on the video took her, whether the blood was there or not. And then the staging, I'm thinking, so like, let's just say, not to be like, but anyway, they take Nancy, they put her in the car, and they're like, hold on, I got to go stage this thing real quick. In other words, come on, they just committed the whole stage of what they just committed was horrific. They don't need to stage anything. That is the stage. You know what I mean?
No, I get you. I hear you on that one. That's why I'm not necessarily sold on the whole staging thing. I'm thinking it's more contact points of something rigid.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I'm telling you, the four patas, that's just doesn't have, and especially this. Let's just say there was a lot of blood out there. You would be able to find probably 4 points like that. There's not even that much blood out there for it to have those 4 exact points. That is strange.
Yeah, the 4 exact points. I mean, it's like finding 2 snowflakes that are exactly the same. It's just impossible.
Right.
It is impossible. Now, there is an interesting point that's brought up here. The scuff mark at the door could be prints of a wheelchair. It's scratched up on the back step. Sheet clogged blood, wheels turn. There is this weird, like, whatever this is, like a weird scratch on the door. Don't know what that caused that either, or what could have caused it.
On the brick or on the door?
It's on the brick on this bottom frame. That little step up. And then, see, this is the part that's interesting, right? So you had this reef here that you could have used to cover up the doorbell camera.
True.
And then you have like all these rocks around here that you could have used to knock it down, but yet he chose to use,
You want to know why though?
Plants.
They were foolproof in their disguise. They were foolproof. That's why they came before, and then they came out. Someone who's good at maybe eye recognition or facial recognition, where they knew that costume was enough that there won't, even because might have took this camera, but they didn't take all the cameras. You know what I mean? So they obviously weren't afraid.
They weren't
with their costume, And then look, you could tell. Oh,
and then we have the possible costume.
The possible, and then sleuth, right?
Sleuth intuition. He brought this up. I think he found it. I think he found it. I mean, you have the line across the chest. $119.
Wow. So that's not the Walmart kidnap package.
Well,
interesting.
It can be. So
he
found this, right? And one of my theories from a while ago was, and I said this, I was like, look, the fact that this has gone on, I think this was like month 4. I was like, everything he's wearing, everybody says that he's wearing, it's from like Walmart. Now at the time I couldn't find the jacket. Now I was looking like crazy. I was looking like crazy for it. But at the time I could not find the jacket. But people were saying that the holster, the mask, the backpack, all that could be gotten at Walmart. And I'm like, man, you have SKU or SKU numbers. That shouldn't be very difficult to go back in today's day and age of computers and technology. Even if you paid cash, those transactions are still got to go through a kiosk of some sort. And there's a footprint of it. Now, you may have paid cash for it if you went into the store. But if you went into the store and paid cash, you're on that big old camera, many cameras that are in there. And so to me, I just thought, somebody buying, these specific items, I would look at everybody that purchased cash, those items, for the last few months, et cetera, to leading up to it to see exactly, who's buying them in cash. And then I'd also do a comparison on credit cards and see who's bought the same 3 items or 4 items, right? But, it bothered me. So I asked old Chat GPT. I was like, hey, can you find this jacket anywhere else? And as you can see, this one even has the zipper on the side there. This jacket. So I found the original. Yep. That's where the the antenna is coming out of, and it's the exact same angle.
Interesting.
And so I thought to myself, if they can't find it and this guy has this big old loot to himself, maybe he went to like a flea market, and some of these flea markets and these secondary marketplaces will go and buy a lot of those, things that are going out of stock, going out, and that they put on clearance and they're trying to get rid of. They'll buy it, then they'll turn around and sell it on the secondary market. And so I had thought about that for a while, and and that's what I still think, is that the guy got this stuff.
Because there's a flea market. I'm gonna have to go back soon. It's the Tanqueverde of the flea market. I'm gonna see if they see those. But that makes sense though too.
Yeah, because I've seen some stores where they'll go in there and they'll go to like an Ollie's or they'll go to the Walmart clearance and they'll just buy everything out and turn it around and sell it. Because when you look it up online, the clearance don't come out, the clearance price don't come out, the actual price. So, like for instance, this jacket is $19.98. If they had like a huge, amount, they may have sold them for $10 on clearance. Somebody turns around and sells them for $15.
Yeah, because Athletic, I think it's not an expensive brand either. Even though I know it was like $119 on that one, had to go to $20.
Well, That's the ploy, right? So I put it on there, and this says here, I found the original jacket. Athletic Works is a Walmart house brand. This particular
Okay.
this
Well,
particular
should've been me.
men's no, it's okay. This particular men's fusion knit jacket was sold by Walmart. Walmart's own listing even says only at Walmart. The catch is, it goes on to say the catch is that the older Walmart is that it's an older Walmart listing. I found several colors, sizes as out of stock, although current shipping results show another variant for fusion jacket at $19.99. Now I tried to look for it. I clicked on the link, and this is what comes up. It says we couldn't find this page.
Yeah, nothing.
And so I said, I want it in all black because this is the one that they sent me a picture, and they go, oh, we found it. It's actually called the Rich Black. Walmart did make it completely black, and reviews confirm people purchased the specific brand. And I said, hey, when did the jacket stop being sold at Walmart? Because I couldn't find it. It goes on to say that all black, Rich Black, athletic fusion knit jackets were sold during early 2025. Walmart verified a purchase date of January 12, 2025, specifically the Rich Black version. And another verified Rich Black purchase review appears on March 24, 2025. Now list is as out of stock. It appears Walmart discontinued and cleared out that particular run sometime after March of 2025. So this isn't something new. So either this guy went and found this on the secondary market, and it was at a flea market, which could be why they're having some problems with like DNA, because I mean, God knows how many hands could have gone on that jacket if it was on the floor at Walmart for an extended period of time and then made its way on the floor of a flea market for an extended period of time.
Right.
If that's the case, that could be why there's so many DNA profiles inside that house, which would make sense why they're not, not being able to find this guy, because the other option is that this guy has owned it since March of 2025. And I would expect this guy's DNA to be all over it if that's the case.
Right. And the jacket that Sleuth found, was it black? When I was looking at it, it looked like it was the gray looking, but maybe he had already switched it back or something. But it was Athletic Works.
Yeah, this
so they could have got
black.
it at a Walmart. I know this the flea market's possible, but it could have been at a Walmart as well, right?
Yeah, if it was at a Walmart, then this guy has owned it since at least March of 2025.
Gotcha. So what you're saying is there's going to be a lot of DNA on that jacket.
Well, there should
no matter
be,
how many times you washed it, right? There's going to be something.
Right. I would expect there to be. Now, if that video is of him on January 13th or 11th, and he's wearing the same jacket, which it appears that he is, then that would lead me to believe that, this could be his jacket for a very long time. Now, that brings a question or a problem to me because, if he's owned it for that long and it's been in his house, it's been in his car and all these other things, there should be an abundance of DNA there at that house of his DNA. I don't get it. I don't get it. I can't come up with, the only thing that makes sense to me.
Especially about the time that they were in the house, whether it was 20 minutes or 41 minutes, him not leaving DNA. Remember how you were telling me with the bite light and just how you just leave DNA just being in the room now.
Yeah.
So you're right. Like, how would they not? Like, it just, unless that's what they're trying to, like you said, maybe that's what they're trying to do is separate all that stuff.
Well,
but 7 months later, you're like, here's
the problem, right? The problem is they had this DNA, right? And law enforcement wasn't really budging on any information. The DNA that they got back right away, it ended up turning into nothing. The hair turned into nothing. Now, first and foremost, you're going to submit the most likely DNA that you have that you suspect is your suspect first. You're not going to submit,
True.
what you think is less likely. You're going to submit what you think is most likely. And so for the most likely DNA to come back as a nothing burger, then all of a sudden they started putting out the ransom notes, putting out more information. about the suspect, talking about how he may have been there a second night. That tells me that they were kind of hanging on that information, and they're back to square one.
You know what? I think when it comes to releasing the ransom note, really, you know what I think? This is, this is what I think happened. Brianna Whitney, remember, she had that information since the beginning and wasn't able to release that. So she started speaking about it. And then all of a sudden, and everybody had to jump on real quick because, oh, yeah, we need to release this because we wanted to, when everybody knows that, everybody, we should have been able to see all that a long time ago. Not we, but at least allow some of the public, linguistic, all that stuff. It's nuts.
It is. The one thing that I wish they would release, and you make a great point there, is that did they release it because of that? That's a very good plausible answer there. There's a good possibility that that's the case. Now, the one thing they haven't released is the vehicle description. And I think that if they had one, a vehicle description, that might help out more than just the ransom notes. Because the ransom notes, I mean, maybe perhaps you get lucky and somebody reads the way they talk and, oh man, that phrase sounds familiar.
Right.
But, a description of a vehicle, and then you can
go way further. You could read a lot more into a photo of a vehicle where people are like, well, we don't want to convict the wrong guy. Well, we don't even know any vehicle. How did she leave the neighborhood? Somehow. Well, yeah.
Every
house has cameras there. I've walked those streets. Every house has cameras there. Some have multiple.
Yeah, I have no idea how they would not have gotten a suspect vehicle by now, and
or at least an identical color or something. Without even, they didn't show us something, tell us. Well,
Well, there's a reaction that could be brought out by it. If you put out there of a vehicle's, color and description. Right. Or you might get somebody to freak out, right, and make some sort of harsh reaction to it, or have some problems at work, etc., start missing, disappear,
you're right.
Those type of things. And then people got put some of those things together. In fact, if you had somebody that maybe perhaps a person was somewhat suspicious of, right? Let's just say that there's this guy that's like, man, XYZ guy over here that I work with, he is acting suspicious during the time of the murder or the abduction. And
right.
He took some time off or whatever the case may be, but, kind of just putting it on the back burner because they knew him from work. And then all of a sudden a description of the vehicle comes out and it matches what they drive. It might change that narrative of whether they're not to report that or not. And so, I point at the Brian Koberger case because I know it probably the best. In that case, they did a bolo where they put out a stock photo of a white Elantra, and they put the wrong year. They put 2011 to 13. His was a 2015. He panicked. He got into it with his professor. He got kicked out, and then he fled within days of the bolo from Washington to Pennsylvania. And so I would expect to see a similar reaction from somebody who maybe perhaps
it didn't even have to be the exact year. That's interesting too.
Yeah, it wasn't even
trigger.
The right year.
It was a trigger. He was watching,
Yeah, and I guarantee you this guy is watching too. Maybe not maybe not ours, but he's watching as much as he possibly can. So at that point he probably is watching us right now.
Yeah, I heard he's on Twitter.
One of the two.
Because everything's timely on there. Well, I used to be on there. I'm not allowed on there anymore.
On Twitter?
Yeah. They banned me for life over there. That's my second time there. Yeah, I know, because they go by IP addresses and all that stuff. So
really? They're that dedicated.
Yeah, dedicated.
That's crazy. G of Twins comes in with 100 jewels. Thank you. Steelers fan 210 comes on their membership for 34 months. There was a time that they were calling Steelers fan a freeloader because she had free memberships and gifts for like 6 months in a row. And that's my wife, by the way.
That's awesome.
And then Canadian True Crime Buffy in the house. Good to see you, Buffy. I hope you're feeling well. 40 months, yes. And then 2 jewels from Steelers fan. Thank you guys. You guys rock. I appreciate everybody here tonight. Please hit the like button. Let's get the likes up. And so, I mean, to break all this down, I think there's a lot of mistakes here that law enforcement should be able to pick up on. And I'm just really concerned that they're not able to. You have, like you mentioned, the bite light. We have clothes that this guy wore on multiple days,
Right.
Possibly owned it for a very long time. I don't get it. I don't get why it's not solved yet. There should be something there. There should be something there.
Were you able to hear the February 11th dispatch video about the blue Malibu?
I did not. What happened there? I was not familiar with that.
It was directly related to the Nancy Guthrie case. If you, it's on my page. I could present it, right?
Yeah. Go ahead. Let me pull this down.
It's not even that long. It's actually the. Hold on.
Yeah, I was not aware about this Malibu.
Okay, and then check it out. So it's the February 1st. There was another Malibu that happened on the same evening as Nancy Guthrie, and then this is February 11th. Another blue Malibu. One had the plates, one didn't. So here, I'm grabbing it right now. Shit. Shoot.
Blue Malibu.
Mm-hmm. You'll even hear the plates, bro. Can you run the plates for us?
I do have connection.
I'm just saying you're about to hear it, so because that's how they have it. All right, hold on, present. I had to grab it. My bad. Share screen. I think you have to allow it, right?
Yeah. Here it
Just
is.
tell me when, and I'll hit play.
Go ahead.
Just 2 calls, so it's split in the middle.
I don't hear any audio.
You will.
There it goes.
10-4, it's going to be at Oracle and River. The caller is advising they saw a female out of a vehicle window screaming. Then it went northbound on Oracle. The vehicle was a dark gray or blue Chevy Malibu, no plate. Advised that the female was hanging out of the window wearing all black, and the door was also open.
10-4, can you advise DTS and see if air is available?
10-4, we're advising TCSO now, and air is not up.
Air is not up.
10-4.
So that's February 1st right there. That was the same evening within a 2-mile radius, within an hour's time, the 2 possible abductions happened. That and Nancy. And that's why, how do they not connect them? And supposedly they were like, no, they found the lady who they were talking about. We haven't heard that. And what if we find out later that Nancy was wearing black pajamas? Because that lady was wearing black, screaming out of a window in a Malibu with no plates. This was about a half hour after her Apple Watch disconnected. So this is, so people don't think it's made up. This is the second one. This is on February 11th. I don't understand the end of it. You might understand some of the codes.
I can tell you, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last seen the area of Ina Road in Thornydale, unknown direction of travel. Just 9 units, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last seen the area of Ina Road in Thornydale Road, unknown direction of travel. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, William, Union, William. Vehicle of interest in Nancy Guthrie case sometime on 2/11/2016 in the Ina Thornydale area. If located, PC will need to be established for stop to identify the driver. Again, it's going to be a vehicle of interest. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, Union, William. Last seen in the area of Ina and Thornydale, and of attempt to locate 2215 hours.
302 traffic, Camel 302 is on the set of Victor Adam, 0 Edward Nora. 902 and 3. Vehicle Saber.
10-4, 2226.
Copy 2227.
937, I copy 1015 for 1381. Do you need an IT6, sir?
937, can you start Nuttles, no hold, white color?
You are set.
Can you see tell me on the single, please?
2233 hours, 937.
Says
937 County does have a FLEBO. Where do you want it at 45 on that?
MA 45 on our office, please.
Just confirm at R103. 2234 937, your FLEBO will 45 you at the 103.
937, well, thank you.
2235 hours.
You're going to have anything go ahead. 18 to Jerry to East 370 DTS requesting a phlebotomist to Jerry to East Highway. Green, I'm like 422
2244 hours.
That's it. Well, have you ever heard of anybody being on a call that they had to call a phlebotomist? Fill me in. Fill me in. I don't know. Hey, but you heard it yourself. Like, it was directly related to the Nancy Guthrie case. And that's the plate right there. And why haven't we got answers? So in other words, I've been digging in deep, finding all kinds of stuff. We're like, just like you said, look how Sleuth found the jacket. That's crazy. Where we don't even, I don't even think that the Pima County got the backpack right. Someone told me that wasn't even the right backpack.
What do you mean that it's not the Ozark one, the Ozark Trail?
It's a different Ozark one or something because it doesn't show the low. I don't know. I don't understand. I'm not good at basing pictures, photos. Like I like hearing it, but I'm not good at like judging it. In other words, like eyes, everybody's eyes can be the porch guy, you know?
Yeah.
But the jacket, that's very interesting. But I mean, this one right here, I would like to know who owns that blue Malibu. And here's the crazy thing, Daniel, is that February 10th, suspect video released, right? Suspect February, did I say the right date? Yeah. February 10th. Yeah. The suspect video was released and Carlos was detained. February 11th, this happened.
Mm-hmm.
February 12th, Kayla got arrested. February 13th, Luke got raided. Is it connected? I don't know. I know that everybody was saying Luke has a blue car that was crashed in his. That's not a Malibu. He had like a Charger or something. This is a whole different vehicle. So we don't know who owns it. I would like to know who the owner is. Or
yeah, that's interesting. That is really interesting. And yeah, I want to. Some of those codes in the back, there was a lot of them talking to each other. It sounded like identification. Like when I was in law enforcement, I was 1604. And so if I talked to dispatch, they were 100. Some departments, they're different numbered, they're different.
I was 1605.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Okay. I was never. It sounded cool though.
Well, the 16, basically what it was like the 16 was the shift that you're part of. And then the second part of it is your rank. So like 1600 was like your lieutenant, and then 1601 was your sergeant. And then your corporals were 02 and 03. And so I was 03. And then, and so, and then it goes further down. Because I started off at 09, then 07, then 05, then 03. So as you move up, that's when that changes. But, and then you have
downwards.
Yeah. As you promote higher. Yeah, so the lower the totem pole, the further up, the higher the number you have. And so that's kind of how that worked. And so sometimes you'll have multiple shifts at the same time. It kind of depends. When I was in law enforcement, we did 12. So it was most of the time just us. But we had other divisions. Like, so you could have like detectives out there. And there would be like the 1200s. And then you would have like, sometimes if you worked 8-hour shifts, then you would have different shifts bleeding to each other. So you might have the 1600s, the 1400s, and the 1200s all in the same shift. And so that's kind of where all those numbers get kind of jumbled up around. And
were you able to tell then kind of, or was it just more like their own, like in other words, just their own, like how did you say it? Like it's your own code. Like,
right. Their own call sign is what it usually is their call sign. Now 45 is something different. They kept using 45. Now I'm trying to remember. It's been a long time.
What's the code 999?
Code 99. Well, it depends. So everywhere is different. So code 99 for us was warrant, wanted, or suspect, stolen. So if I ran somebody's license plate and they came back 99, then that means it was stolen. If I ran their driver's license, they came back 99, that means they had a warrant. And so, runaways would also come back 99. But they were saying 1045, and I'm trying to remember what 45 was, because I don't remember what it was for me. But I think it was because it was something that wasn't very common, and the way they were using it, it was kind of like they were meeting with somebody. It said they're going to 45 with you, and so that's the way they kind of. When I heard that, that's kind of the context I put. He said they're going to 45, because they kept saying 45 on the way, 45. I don't know if that's code for, planned detective.
A phlebotomist, what for blood, right? To draw blood.
That's
why would they have to, if it's related? Why would they have to draw blood? And did you hear how they said they have to find PC before they?
Yeah. So that means that the vehicle was driving around. Yeah, and
it might not even be the owner of the vehicle, but maybe the vehicle was involved.
That's true.
The one on February 1st had no plate. Right. It was covered.
I wonder what time it was. I wonder if they were going to try to get PC to knock it down for like some sort of DWI, so that way they can get a
DNA
sample.
in the car.
Yeah, get DNA in the blood.
You're not going to get rid of all that. Not that. I mean, even in 10 days.
Yeah, it's that's an interesting thing. Do you mind playing that again?
Of course, man.
Yeah, let me hear that again. I know some folks were wanting to hear that one. The one on the 11th.
The second one, right?
Yeah. Let's listen to that one more time.
Let's see.
Interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, less in the area. 910 units, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, less in the area of Ina Road in Thornydale, unknown direction of travel. Just 910 units, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, less in the area of Ina Road in Thornydale Road, unknown direction of travel. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Union, William. Vehicle of interest in Nancy Guthrie case sometime on 2/11/2016 in the Ina Thornydale area. If located, PC will need to be established for stop to identify the driver. Again, it's going to be a vehicle of interest. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Union, William. Last seen in the area of Ina and Thornydale, and of attempt to locate 2215 hours.
302 traffic, Thomas 302 is on a set of Victor Adam, 0 Edward North.
2226.
Pause it.
Yeah,
all right. So,
what did you read right at the end there? Was that another plate?
So what they're doing is, so what that was, and I didn't catch it the first time. That's a bolo. So be on the lookout for. And this is what they're saying. All right, we have a bolo. This is what we need to look out for. We have this blue Malibu, and it is in reference to the case. That means it's probably coming from a detective, and I'm assuming that 45 is a detective. Meet up. When they're going to say they're going to 45 with you, I'm assuming that's with a detective meeting up with somebody. One thing I'm kind of surprised by is if they have a driver. I mean, if they have a license plate. Well, not so much
even a vehicle of interest. No.
Well, not so much that. I mean, it could have panned out into nothing, right? But if you have a license plate, why not give the information on the license plate? Like this came back to a 2013.
Oh, on the air. Oh, I see.
Yeah. 2013 Chevy Malibu with to this person. So the fact that they didn't do that tells me that the license plate probably came back to another vehicle. So it's probably inaccurate.
When I ran the plate, I don't know how to run the plates like how law enforcement does, but it does come back to a 2019 blue Malibu.
Oh, does it?
Those plates. Yes.
That's interesting. I don't understand why they wouldn't just air that out on the radio.
Unless maybe that's what they don't have, that they didn't put it on the radio. I don't. Yeah, it makes no sense to me either. Yeah, that's why I'm kind of glad that you got to hear it, so you could. Because yeah, I don't even understand some of that stuff. All I heard was the pretty much Blue Malibu.
Yeah, because like maybe I just didn't hear it, but did it say 2019 Blue Malibu?
2019. Yeah.
In the broadcast it says.
Let me hear it. I believe it does. But and did the other officer, the male one, did he like say a plate number himself, or was that like his code?
It sounded like they were repeating the information. Yeah, to confirm it.
So can I jump back a hair?
Yeah, jump back a little bit. Thank you for this. I had no idea about this, man. This is interesting.
No problem. I'll email it to you too. That way you have it at all times.
Yes, sir.
Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Idaho. If located, TC will need to be established for stop to identify the driver. Again, it's going to be a vehicle interest.
Hold on. Bam.
There you go.
I should have done that before. And then we can even, hey, just so you know, someone taught me how to go slow-mo.
That address, Thorndale area, is that far from Nancy's house?
I forgot. It might be like 15 miles. So it's not super close, but it's not super far either. But
that's weird.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So look, I put the captions. If we need to go slow-mo, just let me know. Because you understand it. I didn't as much. But.
Need to be established for stop to identify the driver. Again, it's going to be a vehicle interest. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, Union, William. Last seen in the area of Ina and Thornydale, and of attempt to locate 2215 hours.
302 traffic, Chemistry Arizona, 7 Victor, Adam, 0 Edward, Nora.
Victor, Adam, something.
That's a go back a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. 38 traffic, 10-4, 607 30 Victor, Adam, 0 Edward, Nora. That's a license plate. That's 30VA0EN.
So he's running a different plate, that guy?
Yeah, 38 traffic. And so what he's saying is, I'm glad you put this up. It's been a long time since I've heard this. So whenever I pulled somebody over, it'd be 1603, 100 traffic. Now, I usually put my location. I didn't hear that there. Traffic, in the corner of, Culebra and 1604 with... 607 30 Victor Adam 0 Edward Nora. That makes sense. Yeah, I think that might be just something different.
Right.
Related. I think that's
because remember it was mumbled up traffic. So sometimes it seems some overlap. That's just how I got it.
Yeah. This helps out.
That does help, right, Victor? So at least you caught it. See, I would have still not known what that meant.
2226.
10-4. He says, careful. You know, it's another funny one. I think you'll see it in this, and I'm glad I put it up. The sheriff's department, and what they think it says is insurance permit. Insurance permit. It sounds like sheriff's department.
937, I copy 1015 for 1381. Do you need an citation, sir?
937. Can you start metals, no hold, white in color?
Metals, no hold.
White in color. Yeah, I was asking if they needed an ambulance. It sounded like they were at a traffic accident. I think this might metals? Be. Yeah. I'm not sure what the no metals part is. No hold, metal, white in color.
No Metallica, maybe. If you need me to pause it, just tell me. I just stopped it just because I was like, what the hell? No
the hold part is, so when you have a traffic accident, you typically, when you say put a hold on this and stuff, is like you'll get the license plate information, driver's license stuff. And now, again, when I was in law enforcement, this was almost like 15 years ago now. So it's been a while. Back in the day, I'm sure it's different now, but back in the day, we didn't have computers and stuff in our squad unit. So what we had to do is we told dispatch to put a hold on those things, and then we'd have to go pick them up from the dispatch office, and then I would have my reports of everything that I, from the driver's license.
They had to type it up. Stuff. They had to do all the typing.
That wasn't necessarily typed up. It was just printed out. So they would print out the license information, the criminal history report, and those type of things. And so, but this was a while ago, so I'm fairly positive things have changed since then. That's why I want to say I don't know if they do it like this, because this was, when I was a cop, it was like I said, about 15 years ago almost now. And so 2011, 2012. So that was the last time I was in. And yeah, it's been a while.
In California or no?
No, in Texas, out here in West Texas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Tough, bro.
I was an officer for about 8 years, and then had a few accidents. Now the accidents I haven't stopped. I'm so damn accident prone. I'm glad I'm not in law enforcement, because I would probably gotten my ass killed. I had
accidents. Car accident.
No, I when I was in law enforcement, I had a back injury. Arresting a guy.
Oh, I gotcha.
That was pretty serious. I had an ankle injury. That was pretty serious when I was running and stepped in a hole. I had a knee injury that was pretty bad. And then I left. And for the longest time I did well. I blame my wife, because, when I got with my wife, that's when the accidents started to come up. I had an Achilles tendon rupture. I had appendicitis. I had a dog nearly take my arm off. A lot of things, man. It's been crazy, the accidents that I've had. And I keep telling my wife, I was like, well, at least I got those out of the way. Maybe I won't have any more, but they keep piling up.
Because once everything starts going good, there's going to be another one.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, I think there's a couple of different, when it comes back to this, I think there's just
different
a couple of different
calls.
Yeah, couple of different radio calls going on at the same time. But the whole Blue Malibu thing is interesting. Let's hear what else it says.
Okay.
Can you please tell me the free boat, please?
2233 hours, 937. 937. County does have a free boat. Where do you want it at 45 on that?
A free boat. They're giving away free boats. The county is. Like a flea boat, right? A phlebotomist. Right. Gotcha. I pause it. Good.
The county does have a free boat. Where do you want a 45 on that? It sounds like where do you want to meet that? A free boat.
That free boat. You better bring that 45 in case someone's trying to get crazy with you.
No, 45. That's 1045.
He said it's like a special meetup maybe.
Yeah, that's like where do you want to meet? Boat. Why? Is there like a lake?
No, flea boat. That's what she says. Flea boat, like a phlebotomist. Instead of free. That's why I said free boat. That's why I don't read. That's why I said closed captions is doing their best,
Right. So this said 2236. So that's like 10:36 at night. Sounds like they have
in the evening.
Yeah. It sounds like they have a drunk driver.
That's what I was thinking.
MA 45 under office, please.
When I heard the 2237.
Confirm at R103. 2234. 937, your free boat will 45 you at the 103.
Your free boat.
Thank you.
2235 hours.
Anything go ahead. 202 DTS requesting a phlebotomist. 202 East Coast.
Phlebotomist.
2244 hours.
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on in there. I think that
might not be connected, but at least the beginning.
The Blue
part
Malibu is
11.
well, at least to this conversation.
Right.
That's interesting how far they said that it was at. It goes back to the ransom notes. One of the things that it said was that we'll bring her back to Tucson unharmed. Now, Nancy didn't even live in Tucson. She lived outside of Tucson. Is that correct?
Well, when you get mail, you'll still get it. If you put Tucson, when you get your mail there, it's still Tucson. It's just in the Catalina foothills in Tucson. They kind of try to divide them, but really, when you get your mail there, it says Tucson over there, where Nancy's address. You know what I mean?
I don't know, the way I read it, and I don't buy a lot of the stuff that people like. I do think that the author is the perpetrator, and I don't think we should believe everything that they say 100%. Like the back in Tucson and the we stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
It could be, but it could be also misleading. You know what I mean? And so, if
how about this? If it was more than one, it would be, like they say, if you're going to do something, if two people know, one person already knows too much. Like, in other words, who would be able to not snitch and not throw someone else under the bus? Not even just for the reward, but just to save their own butt. Who would be able to do that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, and if the person that wrote the second ransom note is a second person, I'm not saying that it is, but if they're
standing over their shoulder, maybe.
Right. But the first one said, we're not going to contact you. There will be no more contact. The second note is a direct violation of the first. And so if either they would have had to have done that with the consent of the person who wrote the first one, and or had felt confident that they could have that they could have reached out to KOLD, which was the same means of contact that the initial author made out to, and felt confident that they could reach out to the news station, say this, know that this is going to go viral, know that this is going to get back to the initial author, and feel comfortable in doing that, and that person is not going to harm them. I mean, it sounds like if there is a second person, which I'm not quite there yet, but if there is, and that second person is a second writer, they would have to be related, whether that's like family or I agree, romantic relationship, something like that, for that. Because, I know that I've spoken with like Jen Coffindaffer, former FBI agent, and she thinks that this is a wrench by proxy type situation where maybe 100%. Perhaps some people got recruited or people were forced to commit the kidnapping. If that be the case, and somebody, that is just a partner violates, the first person, who I would say was callous, and probably the person that committed this crime, like physically, that went in there and abducted Nancy, the alpha male of the group. I mean, it could have turned ugly for them. They could have also found themselves on a milk box, a milk carton as well. So it would have to be that. But like I said, I think that the difference in tonality has a lot to do with, I think that the first note was written before she was majority of it was written before she was actually abducted.
100%. I agree with you. Maybe they threw in that little piece at the end to kind of, but everything else was and the thing that they put it on, where they like the tip page, those are called web forms. It'd have to be someone who's IT smart enough to know that they're able to mask anything they do on a web form.
Yeah.
And why they didn't send it to KVOA. There's only 3 here, main ones here in Tucson, and they skipped NBC KVOA. They only sent it to Cold and the KGUN. And another thing, Joe, I was wondering is, I wonder if TMZ got the exact same copy and paste.
Well, I think they got the first one. I don't think they got the second one. Some of the statements that they made, one, they made the statement that there was no apology. And the second one is that when they said that when they got word that there was a second ransom note, they did their due diligence and made contact, etc. If they were contacted, they wouldn't need to get word. You know what I mean? They would have known it from the source. So I think they got the first one. I don't think they got the second. I think it was about pressure. So the abductor goes in there. He sends this out to the media to force Savannah to pay, because now everybody knows that there's this ransom out there. Everybody knows that this is the amount, or at least that's what they were hoping for. They were hoping that by going to the media, that the media would go out there and say, hey, we have a ransom, we have this amount, and that would probably apply some pressure to Savannah to make the payment. Right. Without that out there, with it being in silence and quiet, maybe they're not being forced that, which kind of tells me that this person really did plan this out significantly in advance. Well, anyways, so they did it to do the pressure. Now, why not say, they sent it to KOLD. They didn't air it out. So then they sent it
as well.
Yeah, they didn't air it out either. So then they send it to TMZ.
Right away. Right. They wanted that exposure quick.
Right.
Someone who's good IT, smart enough that they could put it on a web form.
Well, that, and they wanted it to be out there. They wanted the world to know. They wanted the spectacle. So that way it would drive pressure to Savannah to pay. And then they don't send it to TMZ. And I think they only send it to KOLD, the second one. And so I think that they were well aware that, and I think that this also goes to, I guess, a change in plans here, is because now they don't want it to be public. They just want the Guthrie family to know that she passed. And Nano
says no. The family doesn't know. He's pretending like she's not dead. And I don't know why he's doing that publicly. And he's doing that because the family believes she's still alive. That's like to this day. He goes, well, I can't say she's dead if I don't have proof of death.
Right. Right. No, I get that. But, this guy, if they are the abductor and he's coming in saying, hey, I hope you find peace with this. I think it's kind of like in a way of him trying to say, all right, don't be finding me anymore. Don't go searching for me.
And if you do, hey, I didn't mean to do it. It wasn't intentional. We were just going to do a kidnap. That's it.
Right.
I didn't mean for her to die when we put duct tape around her mouth.
Right. Exactly. And so I think that, things changed, and they didn't want the second note to go out there like that because they don't no longer need that pressure. You know what I mean? They don't need that. They're not looking for that pressure to get paid anymore. They didn't even
still in control, but they're okay with it. Like, you're right. They're not going to continue to push this money issue when, like, bro, they already messed up, as far as the money part, And I think it's because they didn't have proof of life. Is probably because they didn't even take a picture of her even before she passed. And like, they panicked pretty much. That's why, like you said, they had to put that out there, and they had to make sure that got seen, and it had to be done quick so people would believe she was still alive.
Yeah.
Like you said, how they, like cold wasn't fast enough. So they should hit TMZ. You know what I mean? So,
well, even though they sent it to KOLD, and they could have sent it to Savannah's network herself, and they didn't. And I think that was because I think they would have known, had they sent it there to Savannah's network, that there's a possibility that they're not going to air that out. So they sent it to the local news so that they can build some pressure. And they sent it to TMZ to build that pressure. And TMZ did their job for him.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Sweet Georgia Peach comes in with $2 saying, hi, gentlemen. I am an Alex fan and glad to be here. Thank you. Glad you're here as well. A Yellow EJ2 comes in with 2 more jewels. S Dubs comes in with $2. Please replay. I have Arizona 911 dispatch here. Oh, hey, S Dubs. Thank you. And then Cuffuse with $10 says, Daniel, see S Dubs comment. Replay, have an Arizona dispatcher here. It will be interesting, pretty please. Yes, S Dubs, please let me, if you understand like what the 45s are and stuff like that, that'd be great. I'm pretty sure that means meet up with somebody somewhere. 28 is license plate. 28 is license plate. That's what it was for me too. 28 is license plate. 29 was
same for me.
Yeah, 29 was driver's license. 99 was warrant. 1020 is location. 1050 was an accident.
What's like distress? Like only because the police report, they said that there was like a code 999, but I think it's because the officer's walkie-talkie fell onto the ground and they couldn't get a hold of him.
Code 999. I've never heard of that. I've heard of a code 100, which was a dead person.
Oh,
And so
thank God I wasn't a code 100. We didn't want that.
yeah, no, that's the only one.
Do you want me to play that for the for Whiskey Frequency and just the second one, or you want me to play the whole thing?
Just the first one again, where it talks about the
vehicle.
The vehicle, yeah.
Yeah, that one was good too. And it just takes like 5 seconds to start. Here it comes.
999 is officer in distress.
267, you can level 2.
10-4, it's going to be at Oracle and River. The caller is advising they saw a female out of a vehicle window screaming. Then it went northbound on Oracle. The vehicle was a dark gray or blue Chevy Malibu, no plate. Advised that the female was hanging out of the window wearing all black, and the door was also open.
Is that location?
DTS and see if there's available.
That's like less than 2 miles from Nancy's. Oracle, that's like close to where Luke lives, all those other people, those streets.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah. And there's like when you go to the corner of there, Oracle and River, there should be 9 million cameras right there. There's businesses, everything. So, but they tried to say, someone said that Nano said, I didn't hear anybody say it, but they said it's not related. Well, this is within a half hour of
10-4, we're advising teachers are now.
And remember,
that's wow.
She wasn't. Remember, she hadn't been reported till that afternoon. You know what I mean? Till noon.
That's true.
Air is not up.
Air is not up.
That's one.
Okay, here's the second.
0004.
0004. Is that like 004, like a 007?
Unit, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last seen the area of Ina Road in Thornydale, unknown direction of travel. Just 90 units, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last seen the area of Ina Road in Thornydale Road, unknown direction of travel. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, William, Union, William. Vehicle of interest in Nancy Guthrie case sometime on 2/11/2016 in the I-930 area. If located, PC will need to be established for stop to identify the driver. Again, it's going to be a vehicle of interest. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, Union, William. Last seen in the area of Ina and Thornydale. End of attempt to locate 22:15 hours.
302 traffic. Chemistry Arizona, send Victor Adam, 0 Edward Nora. And I told and 3 vehicle saver.
10-4, 2226.
Check copy 2227.
937, I copy 1015 for 1381. Do you need a 926, sir?
937. Can you start Nuttles? No hold. White color.
Yeah, see, I didn't see that the first time. It said 1050. So there was an accident there, and they're getting. They assume, I think they're suspecting a drunk driver involved in that.
But this is separate.
That's separate from the Bolo.
Oh, so the phlebotomist might have been because of a drunk driver or an accident, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. There was an accident, and there was probably a drunk driver. They asked for emergency. Didn't need that yet, and so I think that's what
likely
that is.
Not connected, right? Should I keep playing?
Not the second part. No, not the second part. I don't hear anything.
I agree.
That first part though is interesting. That's so interesting.
Right. And we never heard of any vehicle of interest for them to even say it on the radio, you know? Yeah.
2233 hours. 937. 937. County does have a free boat. Where do you want it at 45 on that?
Free boats. We're giving out free boats again.
LA 45 on their office, please.
Just confirm at R103. 2234. 937, your free boat will 45 you at the 103. 2235 hours.
Anything, go ahead. 18 to Jerry to East 370 DPS requesting a phlebotomist to Jerry to East Highway
bottom half.
3244.
Malibu woman personal plate. Is that? I didn't realize what the plate. Does it spell out something?
Malibu W.
The license plate.
Right, that's the one they read out. MALIBUW.
No, I could have swore there was some other stuff in there. Go back to the license plate, to the beginning of that one. Let me write it down.
Of course. I could go slow mo if you want me to. No.
Somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last seen the area of Ina Road in Thornydale, unknown direction of travel. Just 90 units, somebody copy and attempt to locate for a vehicle of interest in the Nancy Guthrie case, last seen the area of Ina Road in Thornydale Road, unknown direction of travel. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, William, Union, William. Vehicle of interest in Nancy Guthrie case sometime on 2/11/2016 in the I-930 area. If located, PC will need to be established for stop to identify the driver. Again, it's going to be a vehicle of interest. It's going to be a dark blue 2019 Chevy Malibu, Arizona, Mary, Adam, Lincoln, Ida, Boy, Union, William. Last seen in the area of Ina and Thornydale. End of attempt to locate 2215 hour.
Then that's where it ends. Then pretty much right there.
Yeah. Good pickup, guys, on that. That's a personal plate. But yeah, you're right. That is.
And not only that, when you go back, when you run, even though I don't know how to run it like through law enforcement, it goes back to a 2019 blue Malibu.
Man, I know some people, but if they ran it, that might show up.
Oh, I see. Damn. I have family too, but I'm afraid to ask them, you know?
Yeah. No, I'm not afraid to ask. I'm afraid for them if they ran it.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I don't have access.
Like, why are you running this?
But you're right. It's like flat doop doop.
It's like, oh man, this person out here in Texas is running license plates.
Right.
In Arizona. Oh man.
They'll be already knocking on my door.
Man, that's wild. I hadn't. Where do you get all these the radio stuff? Is that like from Broadcastify? Where do you hear it?
Yeah, this one right here was just I found on a random site, but you could tell that it was the same lady dispatch as all the other ones that I had. So,
wow,
I'm gonna have to still Broadcastify
it. No medical is what it said. No metal. Wait. Did somebody run it?
Hopefully, what? Fill us in. Fat Readout. What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Let us know, please. Someone could be running right now. I mean, that's.
Oh, man. We got the VIN number in the chat. I
got the VIN number already. I already had the VIN number. Sorry. I could have told you that. I had the VIN. I just did. That's all I could do with it. And I kind of came back to a name, but I just haven't wanted to say because I don't know if it's the correct name. Could I say maybe some initials to see if I'm right? Hold on. K.
K.
Name K. Maybe.
So it didn't. What do you call it? Like daily and stuff like that. You can find a connection with it with that.
No, I've been trying. We haven't found any connection in that sense.
Yeah, with somebody early on.
But there very much could be.
I'll say this. It's most likely turned up to be nothing just because of where we're at today. You know what I mean?
Both of them a blue Malibu on February 1st and February 11th.
I think that I think that maybe perhaps the blue Malibu that was seen on the first may be involved, but the one that they got the license plate for probably got cleared.
Ended up being nothing. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, it doesn't mean that that's not a clue that we might be looking for a dark colored, possibly blue 4-door sedan. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to be told out of it. I just think that when it comes to that specific person, given how much time has gone by and what has occurred since then, especially here recently, where law enforcement seem like they're at a dead end. I would assume that specific Malibu with the license plate probably came up nothing, but I think there's something to gain from it, that we could be looking for a blue Malibu or Charger type vehicle.
Or that's a good point. So maybe, well, we know Luke's was already crashed by then at that date because it was already in his driveway, and he bought the Range Rover on February 7th. So
I didn't know that. And he had crashed his before, and I'm sure there's
supposedly the Charger. There's no dates because people go back and forth with the dates. But what I've heard was it was on January 28th that he actually wrecked his blue Dodge Charger.
Oh wow!
The one that was in the driveway. It wasn't wrecked, but the whole front end was kind of. What's up, Adam?
What's going on? Thank you for 199 Patriot Pride official.
He's awesome, man.
Kim, thank you. Kim Wells comes in with $2. Daniel, tell Alex I said hi. Great channel. Thank you.
Hi, Kim.
You guys are amazing. Thank you guys for being here. Wouldn't you like to know? It comes in. I'm assuming that's the last part of that.
Wouldn't you like the present?
There you go. Thank you. Man,
can you put up this other picture I put? It's just not a video, just a picture. Just show you kind of I'm like this evening or tomorrow. This is what I'm kind of going into.
Oh, there you go.
I'm kind of almost connecting all those now, only because as I'm looking up the numbers, Daniel, I'm like, how many wrench attacks happen in the world in 2026 so far here up to August? 50 in the world. How many happened in Arizona? Just one. It happened on 131, same evening at right before Nancy was took in Scottsdale, Arizona, about an hour and a half away.
That's pretty crazy.
The chances and it's also somewhat kind of connected to other wrench attacks that happened in California, San Jose, Sunnyvale, and I believe one in Los Angeles. But it's pretty much wrench attacks. People who are going after people. Like, even if Nancy didn't have any kind of cryptocurrency, it doesn't mean that they didn't know. So Savannah was on the first ransom note. Yeah. They knew that she would have access to that and she'd be able to pay that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what wrench attacks are for. So either people that are famous that they know would have it, or you know how they had some of the Coinbase breaches in 2025. They know a lot of people who have those, and that's what they do. And it's so anyway, that's kind of what I'm kind of aiming towards.
It's possible.
Only because it's hard to infiltrate a lot of. I mean, it's easier to infiltrate certain groups, but maybe certain cultures you can't. And maybe that's why they wouldn't snitch, because in some of those cultures, if you snitch, you're dead, no matter what. You'll be dead before that even happens. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, especially if somebody powerful is pulling the strings. Right. That does make sense. It's definitely a possibility that it is a wrench attack. Somebody got recruited. Somebody got forced to do something like this, or somebody went in with this in mind.
This person was just the extraction. Whoever that person was, he was to extract. I don't think he had the brains to be able to pull off the old web form. Not that cold-blooded person that was up there.
Maybe. I mean,
of course, that's just my opinion.
I think that the guy that went into that house, when I talked to Jennifer Coffendever, and she used to call him a mope, or she still does call him a mope, where kind of along the lines of what you're saying, where you have the hired hand, so to speak, to go in there and do the dirty work. At first I thought she was trying to call him like stupid and things like that, and she said no. The mope is just the person that gets talked into doing the crime. So I was like, okay, because I think that this guy is highly intelligent. Because even if he didn't come up with the plan himself, you still need somebody to execute the plan, and you're only as strong as your weakest link. So if this guy was stupid and he went in there, even if it was a well thought out plan, you're still putting your hands in somebody who's not that intelligent, and things are going to go wrong. And so I think he's pretty intelligent, but could he have been a hired hand? It's very well possible. Could he have been? I don't know, man. I'm stumped on this case. I'll be honest.
How about
with you.
this? So, a lot of people are stuck on the A&T. And of course, I went back and forth for a very long time, but eventually you have to almost think out, you got to just, there has to be other possibilities, being that I think they would have been arrested by now. But anyway, after they searched Annie and Tommaso's house, A&T's house, and they did all that, I don't know if you remember, but the list of 40 pictures and 40 names that went to all the gun stores. Some went to Paradise Valley, some went to Scottsdale, some went to Tucson. That's exactly where the wrench attack happened. And the names that were on that list, I could tie 5 of the names all to one lady, and the other one to a husband, and the other one to her business partner. And this is the same lady that supposedly was a caregiver that lived at the casita and was fired and lived there in 2023. There's even public records that she lived there. I got a cease and desist letter from her attorney and her telling me to cease and desist over what I was putting out there, which is something I had was public. It was already out. It's been out there. Mm-hmm. So it's So anyway, to me, all that's connected. She has a house in Scottsdale. I mean, she has a house, and she had a house in Paradise Valley, and her business was in Scottsdale. I mean, all those connections are strange. Remember, I kind of go with, I trust the FBI before I trust local law enforcement. I'm not saying they're any better or any worse. I'm just saying they get vetted out a little bit more, like compared to like Nanos. Look, they would have vetted him out. They would have figured out, no, this guy was a loser back then. He was able to just doctor up his resume. Oh, no, wait, hold on. No. Or if they so I trust those. And when they took that list of names and pictures, after this was after all the A&T stuff. So I think they would have been arrested by now. And if not, imagine how poor Savannah would look if they do end up arresting A&T after she tried to defend them. Nanos doubled, tripled down that they're not involved. You know what I mean? Would she risk her freedom to cover for A&T, especially over something that happened with her mother? I don't think she would take that chance. I think they would have been arrested. Or imagine the outrage between as many people who still think it's A&T. Imagine the outrage, like they were able to live their best lives these past 7 months. Yeah. Or whenever they get arrested, or like, but
No, I hear you, man. And no, I'm not on the A&T. I don't, we don't got all the evidence and stuff, so I can't discredit anything today. Once somebody gets arrested and more information comes out.
Give me a motive if it was A&T. That's all. They ever said money. Well, they weren't poor. Even the house that they bought, they still own their other house before they sold it. So they weren't like, they might have investments. They might have stocks. We try to base it on, well, how do they afford the more? We don't know. We can't dig into other people's finances. Those kinds of things, they kind of overdig. We're like, wow, we don't know how they pay it, but they pay it. I know that it's going to be difficult for them to live in Tucson. You would think. Just that high profile, that many people why didn't they come in front of the camera?
Well,
don't you think they should have?
I mean, yeah, but I think that was controlled as well. Like when it comes to people coming out in front of the camera, I think law enforcement is controlled, or the FBI has controlled much of what like Savannah has said. I think they've influenced a lot of it. And I think that they're the ones that have, because of the ransom notes being directed towards her, I think that's one of the reasons why they've had her be the one that speaks out majority. And I think that's all, in the hands of law enforcement. And to your point also about trusting the FBI, they also have better resources at the end of the day. The best. The best, yeah. I would trust their resources.
A lot of smart,
I would trust them way before I would trust Pima County. So 100% on that one. But yeah, I mean, this case is just, it could be so many different things, but I don't think it's the family. I think you're right there. I think that if law enforcement had any inclination that it was them, it would have, well, let's put it this way. They thought it was them at one point. I think what Ashley Banfield reported early on
Right.
was accurate, that at a certain point in the investigation, they were looking at the family.
You're right, because that's what they do in investigations. They have to look at these. You're right. That's what they have to do.
That's true. And I think that we have to look at, there's different phases of an investigation. You have the accusation, the investigation, and then you have the result. We can't get caught up on the first two and discredit the result of the investigation just because it doesn't fit our narrative. And so that's kind of where I'm at on that. Now, once somebody gets arrested and there's a probable cause affidavit and evidence gets laid out there, and it says, all right, this guy did it because of this, and this, you know, once we get some more information and we can discredit things, and that's when I'm going to be a little bit more, I guess, stern about, you know, the going after the family members.
How about the federal search warrant for Daley? Did you hear what happened? That all his charges were dropped as of recently?
I did not hear that. Did they? What charges? What charges did
Everything
they have?
that he was fighting. I don't know if it's true. I haven't been able to vet it out. But a few people in my chat were the other day were telling me that, yeah, they dropped all his charges. Did he make a deal? I don't know. You would have to. I don't know how to read that either. But he had a lot of charges: fentanyl, gun. He had like hella fentanyl and guns and money. When he was arrested, it still goes back to the Walmart arrest when he was with Kayla Day.
Really? What happened at Walmart?
Were dropped. They were arrested in the parking lot in 2025. I forgot the month. But yeah, they had all kind of. They were doing a drug deal, and they just busted them with 1,000 fentanyl pills, heroin, guns, money, all kinds of stuff at the Walmart parking lot. I don't know. I was just asking you because a federal search warrant is pretty difficult, you would think, to get that probable cause, like something like
it can. No. I mean, I've never done a federal warrant. Warrants aren't too difficult to get if you can articulate the information in the evidence, because you don't need like beyond reasonable doubt evidence. You just need enough.
Like he pinged, like so he pinged, and that would be enough to get a federal search warrant, you would think, or you would think it would take more than just that. But you would know better than I would. I don't know.
I mean, you might have a ping in the area. You might also have the fact that he might drive a vehicle that matches. And if they do have a vehicle leaving in a direction, if it was going towards his place, and then
remember they got Luke at his house and simultaneously, you know what I mean? You know, like car and the house, you know?
Yeah. They were pretty confident they had their dude.
For real.
And then, sweet Georgia Peach comes in saying, with the charges dropped against Luke Daley to avoid a lawsuit, not only have charges been dismissed, but also his other court fees and all his past cases have now been closed and sent to collections.
Wow. See, I didn't know all that. And then, I don't know, that's a good question. To avoid a lawsuit, because he could still sue. He could
the other guy is.
We changed our mind. Yeah, Carlos is.
You know, a lot of people were wondering about that, whether or not he decided not to sue because maybe perhaps there's still something there. I mean, Nano's kind of alluded to that. You know, he was kind of saying something to the effect that
they sent DNA away from Carlos's house.
Yeah. But he was saying that, like, you know, we had enough evidence to detain you. We just didn't have enough evidence to keep you there yet, or something like that. And it just kind of really alluded to the possibility that they could still be investigating. And this is kind of when, to me, it was like, you know, real chicken crap, because he goes on to say something to the effect that, you know, just because you're cleared doesn't mean that you can't be uncleared or whatever. And then he throws the family under the bus by saying something very similar to that towards them as well. And I felt that was all because if he goes out and says, hey, the family's cleared, but yet Daley and Carlos, you know, we're not going to say those things about them. Well, one, that's going to help out Carlos, you know, for his lawsuit. True. Because they're really putting it out there that he still could be a suspect. And two, if they come back and say, oh no, you know, he's cleared, well, then he has, you know, something to stand on to say, hey, I was cleared and they came after me anyway. So to me, it always felt like it was a financial thing when he said the things he said. And it seemed like real cowardly to me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
Those are all still on my bingo card. Daly, Carlos, Kayla, only because it's, I don't know. I know it's like you're saying about the search warrants and that they're easier to, I know that I'm not saying easy to get, but they're, there's certain things that could ring a bell for them to have to go serve a warrant there, but them not being arrested doesn't change anything for me. I just still feel, I'm also not good at saying he's the porch guy. I don't know who the porch guy. I wish I did know.
Yeah, I have no idea who the porch guy is. I will say that, they look closer to the guy, Carlos and Daly. Like if just looking at the outline and the shape of the head and the nose and things of that nature of the person in the mask, it's a better fit, in my opinion, than those that are looking like at Tommaso. I don't think his head shape fits and things of that nature. And so, and I think with Carlos, he mentioned that they were searching him and detained him because he looked like
his
guy.
Eyes, something to do with his eyes. Yeah.
And his nose too. He's got a smaller nose.
No, but he even said it, I think, on one of the news things. He said something to do with my eyes. I'm like, what?
I mean, it could be that too, but his nose was really small too. But let's see.
I always thought it was what's the best way to say it? Like a Middle Eastern or, Arabic or.
I mean, it could be.
Just remember, there's a lot of brown countries that don't like us, and there's, and this is something that'd be, I don't know. That's just a lot of the proxy angles I'm looking at,
Yeah.
Well, that's where all the names that were on the list that went to the gun stores.
Yeah.
Were all those.
Really? I thought so. I know one person that came out and he kind of mentioned that they were of Hispanic origin or Mexican origin.
There might have been a couple Mexican names, or Hispanic, but I'll show you these other ones if you want.
Yeah. And how did you get this list of names?
Well, because JLR had found out that they had talked to the gun store. I think I put it down there. So this was in March.
Oh.
So Abnusi, Mobashir, Baraman, Bakhtiar, and Abnus, all 5 of those, all go back to a lady named Tina Abnusi, Fatima. Short is Tina. Her business partner, down at the bottom it says Shambayati. He owns patents and stuff. That's her business partner. She owns some patents too, which like for HVAC stuff, for weird things, a digital. And supposedly she lived there and at the casita. And then in that letter that I got from the attorney, she said that she never lived there, and she never even knew who Nancy was. Public records have her name all over that property. People will even show you, that. But all these names these are some of them. These aren't all of them. And then supposedly one of the guys at the gun stores said that the face, because they were looking at faces and names, that one of the faces looked like porch guy. Maybe they already have that guy.
Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't aware of these names.
These are all go back to Iranian descent.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was talking about some cultures you can't infiltrate. That's one of those cultures you can't.
Yeah.
You're not going to mess up them. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, you'll die, Remember, some of these people that were infidels to a lot of people,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but we are,
Wow. That's interesting, man.
Mm-hmm.
That is interesting. I need to look more into that. Well, we're getting to the 2-hour mark pretty close. You're going to be going live tomorrow. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably tomorrow sometime. Yeah. I don't know when, but I never plan ahead. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. Hopefully I didn't talk too much.
No, you did great, man. I appreciate you coming on. Make sure you guys
feel like powder. I feel like my light's like every time I look at myself, I look like powder. I'm like, oh,
dude, that movie was awesome. That movie.
I'm gonna have to watch it again recently.
Yeah, no, that movie was great. That was one of my. I've seen that movie a million times, dude.
I love that movie.
Um,
That and the Recent Vacation. That one's good.
Recent
it was 10 years
Vacation. I
ago
haven't
now.
seen that one
It's
yet.
10 years ago, but that's the most recent one. The one with it's got Christina Applegate and then the dude from Hangover who lost his tooth as the
Oh
parent.
yeah.
That's so funny. That was a good one, I think.
Nice. I got to check
I
that
can
out.
still watch it to this day. Like it's like one of those ones you can watch again, like a Cheech and Chong movie.
Heck yeah, man. Heck yeah. Cheech and Chong's hilarious too, man. That's one of my favorite. Up in Smoke is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, me too. Hey, just so you know, on my page, if you hit videos, you could go to the 911 if you wanted it. I could always email it to you too.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I think
it's even separate, right? Yeah. That one's all by itself, that one. But it also has the chatterbug, like the call that you decided was probably an accident, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The last one I watched was this one.
Which
The
one?
Many Faces of Sheriff Nanos.
Oh yeah, I have fun with him. He's just too funny to have, man. Hey, the comedy writes itself for him.
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, I'm going to go back and listen to these as well. Guys, make sure you go and follow Criminal Network. I have it tagged in the title. If you can't, just go find his channel here. Make sure you tell him that you found him through the Drunk Turkey Show. And then this is my other channel. If you guys were interested, it's called Married to the Hobby. 573 subscribers, guys. We're trying to get to 1,000.
Get to 1,000.
Yeah, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I already wrote it down too with the number 2. You guys, make sure anybody here who coming to watch Alex, make sure you guys subscribe. He needs those. We're trying to get to 1,000.
I appreciate that. Heck yeah, man. That would be great. Now, me and my wife would love it. We're giving away a little Pokemon thing. If you guys go watch this one video, there's a little thing you got to do in there, and you can get a free booster bundle. So go check that out. I'd appreciate it. Let me know when you go on live, man. I'll be in the live chat. I'd love to catch you live.
Awesome, man. I appreciate the invite again too. I love going back and forth with you, man. It's awesome, man. I appreciate it.
I do too, man. It's always a great conversation. It was fun tonight. Thank you again for joining me, and we'll have you back on again once we get some more stuff and for more info. But
gotcha,
for everybody else, you guys have a great night, and thank you for tuning in. Please hit the like and subscribe button. See y'all next time. Peace out, everybody. Bye.